Hello guys, gals, and non-binary pals, and welcome to the Fifth Trooper Podcast. I'm Owen, and always accompanying me is my trusty co-pilot, Isaac. Isaac, how's it going?
It is going.
And today we are going to talk about tournaments. Not just going to tournaments, but we're going to talk about how to host a tournament, how you start tournaments in your area, or being involved in them. So we're going to talk about tournaments, but before that we do, we just want to say, thank you for all of our Patreon. You are the people that make this happen, so thank you so much for being here. If you are subscribed at the Stormtrooper tier or higher, you do get your name at the end of this video, so if you ever wanted to know how to do that, that's how you do that. And also that helps us be able to make this stuff. It helps the rest of the Fifth Trooper doing all of their things, Notorious Scoundrels doing their podcast. It helps everybody be able to be part of this. And so we desperately appreciate it. And we love that you're here. So thank you so much for being a part of this community and helping us do this. So thanks. And if you are interested in joining us, you can always go over to patreon.com/thefifthtrooper. And that is how you can join and be part of this. But now that all of that is out of the way, let us get back to our topic at hand here, which was tournaments, how to host tournaments. I had just done my first one, so I felt like this was pretty good timing. So that way I've got some fresh tips of how to do this smoothly for you to be able to host tournaments in your area. And also Isaac, you also host over in New York, and yours is actually GT level, right? So you've got like the big tournaments. You got like a big one.
I've done one GT, but
yeah,
yes.
But still, like you, so even at like that kind of caliber, you've also done that, and so we're going to talk about how to get that started. So Isaac, if I am out in, let's say I am somewhere in Ohio, and I've got a couple of friends that I've been playing this game with, and I go, we should try to do a tournament or host a tournament. Great. How do I start out?
Yeah, for sure. And like, as we kind of get into this, I'm going to sort of talk about it more so from the local tournament scene. I'm going to assume that the majority of people don't have a GT because it's kind of rare for stores to get one. And the local tournament scene, as we've talked about, it's like these are the things that build community and they're like the life stream, the backbone of the community, and keeping your community playing, getting events going, getting new players in. This is like really where the magic happens as far as like building community, and so it's something I'm rather passionate about. But I've ran a lot of like local tourneys and had a lot of been in a lot of great tournaments myself, and so it's nice to have a knowledge to pull from. I'm by no means like a master at this. As we'll get into it, it's really not that it's not that crazy of a thing to do. It's just like you just needed somebody to just put the event up. So yeah, I guess to get into it, running events is like 90% of the job is just the logistics part of it. You are just going to whatever the venue is. 90% of the time, that's probably going to be your friendly local gaming store. That's great. So you're just going to whoever the store owner is, whoever the event owner is, or event space owner is, just asking them, hey, I'd like to throw an event. Cool. They're usually always going to be for that because that's good for their business. It's good for your community. It's a win-win. And so all you're doing is just sort of looking at your schedule and saying, when do I want to throw an event? When can I do it? If you're the tournament organizer, make sure you can be there. That's a good part. That's important. So you're just basically coordinating with the store first. So first step, you're really just going to the store and seeing what dates work for them. You, of course, don't want to overlap with like a big 40K event, or if there's another event that's going to like consume all the space and stuff. And you want to get, of course, permission and everything with the store to like, hey, I want to throw an event with X amount of tables, whatever you think you might be able to run or muster up. So that's the first step. You literally just go there and go to your store. Yeah.
I would say, as we're diving into this, just also for people who are at home thinking about this stuff, unlike various other games that have like levels of judge that you have to like get approved of by anything like that. Legion is not one of those games.
Not at all.
Right? Not at all. And so you don't need to do anything super fancy or official. Literally talking to your LGS and being like, "Can we do a tournament here?" Is probably that's all you need to do, right? Like that. That is step one, and very easy to be able to do is just reaching out to them. If you don't have an LGS and you still wanted to put a tournament on, you could also try to like rent space somewhere and then be able to host in that venue. But I think that we are doing what most people would do, which is hosting it at a game store, and so this will be through that lens. But do know that is also another thing is I know that there are plenty of people who you are a fan of bolt action, and I know plenty of bolt action people that play at museums and stuff like that because that is available to them, and so they rent out the space and play there.
The movie theater, right?
That's Rob, who will be with us in a future cast soon. He comboed with a movie theater, and so they all played Legion for the tournament, and then afterwards they saw Mando and Grogu because it was like around that time. And again, if people have space, they will rent it to you if you have the money and if you can say like, I know for a fact I can get this many people in the door, and we can give you this much money for the space or something like that. That already is, I'd say 90% of the organization you need to do.
Right, yeah, like, I mean, like the cost of play, there's always some sort of cost associated with playing. I mean, most local stuff, I mean, the most expensive I've seen is like $30 for like 3 games. But like, it's like 10, 15, whatever it's going to be, like that, like you can talk through that with the store owner. That's some details to get into. Most of the time, they're just going to have to have people in. If it's a store, it's really just a big deal just to have people in at all. People in the store means they're usually going to buy stuff. At least they have to come to the store to buy stuff, so it's good from the store owner perspective. But yeah, if you're going to, like the movie theaters, the museums, whatever, there's all sorts of creative ways. It doesn't necessarily have to be in a game store if you're in an area that maybe doesn't have a store nearby. That's definitely an option. You can look into other spaces and stuff as well. But yeah, we're going to be looking at this mostly from the lens of the local game store, just because that's probably going to be your best resource. They're going to have some terrain on hand, hopefully, and space, tables, things like that.
I would also say that a local game store is where your community is.
Right. Yeah.
Or where you want your community to be.
Yeah.
And so that's also part of it, is that by doing tournaments at your local game store, you are building more on that community at the local game store, and so people know that they can go there and play, even when the tournaments are not happening. Whereas when you are hosting that somewhere else, yes, it's very cool that you could do it at a movie theater and combo with them, but on a random day of the week, you're not going to be able to be like, well, I want to play Star Wars. Oh, I can't play because it's at this, like that's like a special event kind of thing. That's a thing that is, this is like a fun way for our group to get together and do something else. But that doesn't help it build it or show it off and just been like, yes, please come play with us every single Tuesday or whatever it is for you. Like, you need to kind of go to the game store, and that's why your game store is probably going to be your best resource. We'll also have plenty of other reasons for doing that as well. So know that you have other options, but step one is always just going to your game store and being like, hey, can I do this? Can I work with you guys? Can we set this up?
Yes. Yeah, for sure. It's also great to like kind of use their on the advertisement side, using their their various channels that they have. If they have like a miniatures group or something, I know like our store Millennium Games has just a general minis Facebook group, and usually that's kind of the funnel that puts people into their various subgroups of games. But like just throwing stuff up there is great too, just because you can pull other players in. And also when you throw events, it sort of pings to your local community that like, this is a game that has a good community here. This is a game that has people playing it. They're putting events on. It's not just like it elevates it beyond like, this is something that I'm only ever going to get to play on my kitchen table, which is nothing wrong with, but we're talking about throwing tournaments, so this is kind of how you do it and how you build community and things. But yeah, and just to clear up right away, we hit on it a little bit. I know that oftentimes people think that like to be a TO or an event organizer, you just have to be the smartest person in the room on the rules, or you must be this rules wizard, and that is not the case. Like Legion is a fairly simple game as rules go, like easy to learn, difficult to master, and you don't have to be just this ungodly wizard of rules to like throw an event. I mean, I feel like I'm decently knowledged. I'm like on the rules at Legion at this point, but the like I've ran events for like Middle Earth or Bolt Action even where I'm like I don't know like I really don't. I'm definitely not the smartest person in the room when I run events like that. I'm just like the person that facilitated it, and you can lean on your community members. There's a collective knowledge of everyone in the room. There's nothing wrong with being like, hey, I know this guy over here probably knows the answer more than I do, especially at like a local level. Now, if this was like Worlds or like an official AMG event, sure, that wouldn't be great. You don't want to be like at a GT, like bugging your neighbor for like, hey, what's this do? Like type questions. But that's not what this is. These are your local game stores. They're competitive casual games, and so you don't like get that out of the just like you can rip that band-aid off. You don't have to be a rules wizard. There's a million resources we have. If the worst case scenario, nobody in the room knows it, it takes like 3 to 5 minutes, if that, to just pull up Legion Quick Guide, look at the rule book, do a quick like Control F search or something to end the rule book if you have to. But even Legion Quick Guide has like 90% of your answers that you will have come up in a tournament. Every now and then you might have something that's like in a forum, but like that's really rare. So like it's not the end of the world. You don't have to. The expectation for like a local tournament, in my opinion, is not that like, oh, they should have every answer like just bam, like right off the rip. And most of the time, your community, the collective knowledge fills in a lot of those gaps. So just to rip that off, like we said, there's no certification needed to be like an event organizer for these things.
Yeah. I my tournament that I just did, somebody asked me a question that I didn't know an answer to, but I was able to literally just, I had all of the rules printed out there, and so I just looked up what they were asking about, read it out to them, we figured it out together. Like, I didn't know, the answer off the top of my head. It wasn't exactly a hard rules question either. It was just like, does this thing need to be in line of sight, or is it just range 2? And so I was like, oh, let me see what the rules say. That's why I had it there. Looked it up real quick. Yeah, you just need to be within range 2. Done. Yep. Like that is very simple. It didn't stop the game from happening or anything like that. It was a very simple thing, and like that is what you're there to do. Is if you're not playing and you're hosting kind of thing in that sense, then it's like, yeah, your job is to help figure out the answer, but it's not necessarily to always know the answer. If that is by asking somebody else at the tournament, by going over and talking to them and being like, hey, what is this? That way they can continue thinking about their game and playing their game. You're the one that is, discovering the answer for them and then going back and being like, hey, this is the answer to what you're looking for. That's not immediately knowing the answer. That is literally just, I will find what the solution to your problem.
Yeah, it takes like a minute. It's not like if you don't like it's not that big of a deal on the rules side. So I know that's like a thing that sometimes prevents people from feeling like they can do this kind of thing, and it's really not. It's really more important to just have people willing to like step up and just coordinate an event. So I mean, honestly, if you're comfortable enough to show up at a tournament and play, you're probably have enough knowledge base to like run the event. It's just a few more steps of like prep work of just coordinating this, and it's really not that big of a. It's not that much time. Like, I mean, I probably throw an event a month, and like on the coordination side at this point, I just shoot the owner a Facebook message, and I'm like, hey, can I do an event this day? And he's like, cool, do it. That's all it is. I make and go through some of these steps that we're about to get into, but just you're just posting things in groups. You're making a little Longshanks thing, and like that's it. You're maybe showing up a little bit early to set the event up. That's really all there is to it. It's not this crazy endeavor. Just kind of lower the barrier of entry. But yeah. So to get into it, there's the who, what, when, where is all of this stuff. So who, everyone. Always try to reach as many folks as you can. This is it's how the community grows. So literally anyone that has a love for Star Wars. Or miniature wargaming, or just hobbying in general, you can have a good time here. And also, if there is anybody willing to help you, at all in any capacity, accept their help. Ask for help. You can't do this all. You can't do it. You have to have people involved, and people are usually really willing to help you too. Like, don't be afraid to ask. Like, hey, anybody want to set up? Anybody have some terrain they can bring from home? Even if somebody, like, our community is great here, because like when I run an event, I don't really like I show up in time to like set up all the tables, but normally, there's people that are going to show up like 30 minutes early, and they're more than willing to set a table up, and then it just becomes a thing of you just kind of going over and double checking it, or if you're setting tables up, you don't feel comfortable about that. We just got the the terrain cards, so you can use those. But you can even have, if there's more knowledgeable players, have players give you feedback on like table setup and stuff too as you're doing that. It takes a village to put these events on, so ask for help, invite everybody, do all the things. This is you'll get some new players and things. It's how the community grows. So we've already talked about that. Usually it's gonna be your local gaming store. There's a plethora of spaces you can use to do this, but most of the time it's gonna be your local gaming store for what this is. You want to make sure that they're cool with basically letting you take up however many tables you're going to take up, however big of an event you think you can muster. Just give them a ballpark number. Make sure they're chill with you. If you're doing a 3-round tournament, like a 1-day tournament, you're going to be there for about 8 hours probably. So if you're starting at 9, most of the time it ends around 6 or 7 if you're doing like 2.5-hour rounds. I would not recommend. I know that like in the Grand Conquest official AMG tournament document, that's a good resource. You can pick and choose from that. The community as a whole, from my experience, does not tend to obey the hidden clock thing. I would not recommend doing it for a local tournament. I would just put the round timer up. It makes everybody's life a little bit easier. If you want to absolutely stick to that, you can do that. Put it in the tournament doc. You can do that. Just let them know, like, still let the owner know that, like, hey, it's going to be around 3 2.5-hour rounds. There's going to be some time. There's going to be a lunch break in between. It's going to be 8 to 9 hours-ish. So it's the where and the what. So boards. That's really the most important thing. And sometimes be one of the most... If there is a hurdle to jump over, it's probably getting enough terrain and boards to make sure you have enough tables. So this is where your local gaming store can really be a good resource, because 9 times out of 10, if they do miniature gaming at all, they probably at least have like 40K stuff. And I know it's not the greatest stuff for Legion, but if you truly like, I don't have a printer, I don't have anything, there's just nothing, you can use that to get the ball rolling. It'll work. The making everything pretty and beautiful and immersive will come with time. It doesn't have to be just because you can't put 8 just Legion terrain level tables on the board. Also shouldn't be something that holds you back.
And this is again, as we just pointed out, the ask part of it is that if you don't have a table, which is fair, a lot of Legion players don't have a lot of terrain to be able to put together a table like that. Ask people that do. When you go to other tournaments at other stores, you'll find people who are either organizing over there or other players that just have stuff. And just keep their names in your head, maybe get some contact info from them or something, so that way when it is time for you to do your tournament, you can go over to them and just be like, hey, do you mind if I borrow a table's worth of terrain? Or, hey, are you coming to, if it's a player, it's like, hey, are you coming down to this? Because if they are, you can guarantee yourself that it's like, okay, well, they're going to come down and bring a table or two with them. And if this is where that ask comes in, like that is what I had to do for mine. Is I don't own a ton of tables. I had one that I kind of threw together, but I didn't have great ones, and there was an individual who I knew had a bunch of stuff, and I was like, hey, can you come down to this tournament? And they weren't going to come at all, but the fact that I asked them to show up was the reason they came. So always ask people to show up, when you're at tournaments and things, just be like, hey, I'm putting one on in a couple months, come down, because that is an official ask kind of thing that like people will respond to that, because they're like, well, I wasn't planning on it, but now I am. And that helps get you the stuff that you need to be able to run it, because you will need terrain, otherwise you just have a table and some shoe boxes or whatever you can find, which is better than nothing, but still you do kind of want to have nice tables, and there are people who have that, and so you can just be like, hey, hello person with a nice table, can you show up?
Try to try to put the best table you can together. If it is not the most beautiful, perfect Star Wars terrain, don't let that stop you from throwing the event either. That will come with time. As you throw events, I mean, we started with like, I don't know, I think our store has like 2 tables, and like for a long time, yeah, like there was 2 or 3 tables that were probably just like hodgepodge together out of whatever it was, ever 15 Razor Crest from Hasbro or whatever it was, like, whatever it is, like, or that, I know the AT-ATs pop up, or if I'm calling it, I don't know if I have the right, the big Hasbro Pathwalker, the AT-AT, I think. Those things are, yeah, like whatever you can get. So whatever you can get your hands on, it is more important to have something than nothing. So don't let that be, if the idea and the expectation is, oh, when I'm a rules wizard and I have all the terrain and can put 8 tables up myself, like it's just not going to happen. So
Yeah.
like
do that.
It builds slow. So you got to start somewhere. So don't let that take it off. You can use
and
tape
you
on
can,
mats too.
your organization and your tables and things like that will get better with time.
Yeah.
And the more that you are doing this, the more that it is then worth it. Because anytime that you look at a piece of terrain and you're like, holy crap, that terrain is $200 just for that piece, that's so much, that's crazy, I don't want to do, that's way too much money for plastic. I mean, that's an entire, almost an entire Mandalorian army. Like, that's what I'd rather be spending my money on. And like, oh, I get it. But once you are doing this in a repetitive manner and you're constantly bringing your terrain out or whatever you have, and you're doing that, then you're like, actually, I'm doing this every month or every other month or whatever it is. And now you're like, well, now I can kind of see how spending that much on something is getting broken down, and it's not just $200 for a piece of plastic. It's $200 for this piece on a table that you're like using constantly, and now all of a sudden it like kind of justifies it a little bit more. Still, don't you can we've talked about this in our other videos that you can do terrain for cheap and things like that. But if you wanted to, it is a lot easier to justify that kind of a thing and just go, okay, now that we have tournaments going and people are constantly using my table, let me upgrade.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and like even mats, like mats can like usually $80 to $100. Like if you have like the 40K mats or maybe a bunch of 6x4s, you can just Scotch tape those or something. Like just throw a piece of painter's tape on it. Like that's very normal. If you don't have like sidebars or something, like you can make the dream work here. So it's all the things. Use what you have. Put as much up as you can. If you can't do much, that's okay. That you're doing the event. That's the biggest thing. Do the events.
100%.
Like step up and do the events. If you got somebody throwing events that's in your area, help them out. It's really help. Like especially if there's only like 1 or 2 guys that are like maybe throwing the events, it is so helpful to have like talk to that guy that's already doing them. I'm like, hey, can I run an event? They're probably gonna say yes, and they'll probably help you do it, and they'll be eager to do it. I know I would. like it's it helps a lot.
And to go with like the asking to help out is also asking to help out the local one that you're always going to, because that person may want to have one when they're not around, right? Maybe they got a wedding, or it's in the middle of the school year and they got something, busy season or something. And they're like, man, it'd be great if we were able to do this consistently at this time, but I'm out. If they know they can throw it to you, and that you can be the point person and to be there and do that, that makes it easier for them, because now they're going, okay, yeah, well, I'm out, but you're still here, so you do this on that month, and then I can pick it back up when I get back. Like, that is a thing that happens, and so by all means, make sure that you're talking to the people that are organizing stuff, because even that is something nice enough that it's just like, hey, do you need a hand that can make it go easier, or just say, hey, like, I can help you with this, so you don't have to always do everything from scratch every single time. Yeah,
it's worth even just making the ask. Like I think about our Legion community is pretty self-sustainable here, but our Middle Earth community maybe not so much. It's like that's another one I'm fairly active in here, and we even went as far. We put like a league like together, like an admin league, kind of like that. They do that for Middle Earth if you're anywhere familiar with that. But like to make a long story short, we just like we literally just elected 5 people to sort of just put events together, and that the ask is like, all right, we're all going to throw 2 events a year, and we're going to make these. We have like a league system and points and stuff. You don't have to go that far, but like even just like all it was just somebody putting the idea forth to be like, hey, I want to put together like a team of people to just run events and just keep the ball rolling here, and you'd be surprised who comes out of the woodwork. It's just because there's an ask, there's a formal ask for it, and it's something that like, people don't normally sort of like just bring forth out of the blue. They're just kind of waiting for the need, or like just need a little bit of an ask or some sort of prompting to do that. We all love this game and want to see it do well. That's why you're here watching this podcast. So,
yeah, 100%.
So like, you'd be surprised. You are not alone. People want to do the things to help and want to help out as much as they can in general. So do all those things. But yeah. Yes, so where or what boards, that's the big one. When, in my experience, it varies from group to group, but in general, Saturdays tend to be the best day to throw an event. You can try to do a Sunday. In my experience, Sundays tend to not run as well attended. Plus stores sometimes will have different hours on Sundays and things too. So I would try to aim for a Saturday, especially if you're trying to pull people that are driving at all. If you have like for example, we're in Rochester, so we're fairly centrally located between Syracuse and Buffalo, and so it's like an hour for both of them. And it's a lot easier for like people that are traveling to do a Saturday because they can the hour drive up and the hour drive back is a little bit easier versus like on a Sunday. People with families, things, schedules, church, whatever it might be. Sundays tend to be a little bit harder. It's not impossible. If your community is like, hey, we're all free on Sunday, do that. So to do the day that fits your community best, it's always worth shooting a message out. Like I'll do this frequently. We have a Discord, so I'll float like, hey, thinking about putting an event on August 22nd. I'm going to try to do it on August 22nd. So I'll like send a message out and just be like, hey, just to fill the water. If for some reason there's like hey, like there's a lot of our community maybe plays another game system and there's another tournament that I'm unaware of or something that's going to like cannibalize half my players. Okay, that's worth knowing before you just like go full send with it. So as far as the win, read the room, read your community and what best fits their needs, and of course meets your schedule as well.
Yeah, when you talk to your local store, they'll probably have dates for things and be able to help you with this.
Right.
And that's going to be great because most likely they're going to go, hey, there's a Magic the Gathering release on that weekend. Right. We're doing this on this other weekend, and so that already will chew up store space that you don't really want to be doing that at the same time, and so that will kind of push you over into specific weekends on a Saturday or a Sunday that they aren't doing that you could then be able to host and do it then. Now, the downside of that, and what I frequently see, is that you have all of the stores in the region are obeying that kind of release schedule, and so then all of the Star Wars Legion games end up being like, okay, it's our tournament, and 3 or 4 stores within a 3-hour drive are all doing theirs that weekend because that's the next one that's free. So do talk to your I wouldn't say local scene, but maybe a little bit more extended scene of Legion players, just so that way you know that if you're pulling people from an hour away, that they don't have a tournament that's happening, that Star Wars Legion tournament that's happening near them, because they'll go to the whichever one is probably closer. That is a huge pull, and so if that closer is 30 minutes in the other direction, so that's 90 minutes from you, right? Like, do kind of think about that spectrum of like, even the stuff might be a little bit farther away and pulling them in opposite directions. The one that I just had the last weekend, we had 4 games all on the same day. We had 4 tournaments all on the same day, and all of them were within 3 hours of each other. It was from Fredericksburg to Philly. There was 4 tournaments just going all up 95, and that's great because then all of the Legion players have somewhere to go and play, but it does kind of cut down your numbers when people are looking at it just going, well, I can go 30 minutes in that direction or 1 hour in that direction.
Right.
Like, that will affect you. Or if there's one that's like super good and everybody loves going to it because the prizes are great and it's like a huge store or whatever, they might drive an hour and a half, 2 hours to that store, and that's cutting the people out of what you can do. So do communicate with people and try to communicate in advance to your Legion community. See if you can get in touch with some of those other stores and be like, hey, when are you planning on doing stuff? So we don't plan on doing it the same time, that we could maybe do it a month before or a couple weeks after, or something in that nature to space that out. And that kind of then goes into the next thing that you wanted to talk about, which was, if you're communicating with the stores, you got to communicate with the people with some advertisements.
Yeah, for sure. And just a little sidebar, you don't have to pioneer and do all of it. If you're in a situation where you have multiple stores and playing, it's easy to silo off, and I would advocate to avoid that. This like silo within the store. The stores are great, support them, and do all that. Put stuff in their channels, but I would encourage you, players just in general, to have some sort of regional group. So, for example, this year, we ended up combining. We had like a Western New York region that kind of covered our scene, and we just consolidated that into like one Discord so that we could coordinate that across it. We just have little local channels within it, and so like it's really great because like now all of our players everybody's like landed in the same spot. We have a big tournament page on our Discord, and we put events up, on the Discord event calendar. And we have a tournaments channel where we'll post the events as well. But this way, like, we're all communicating, and we have a bunch of sub-channels in our Discord, like Rochester, Buffalo, Syracuse. That makes it a lot easy. That's kind of a lot that, like, just to not overwhelm you. You don't have to do that, but it certainly will increase your success as you're doing this.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
If it's your first event, do what you can do. Advertise as much as you can. Communicate with as many people as you can. Don't let it, don't let it, again, everything we're saying, it is always the best. Doing an event at all is the best thing you can do. Mm-hmm. So even if the first event has 6 players in attendance or 4 players in attendance, whatever it might be, that's a success. If you're doing something, you're doing the community a service. So I'll always do that. But yeah, communication. So on the advertisement side, I try to give everybody a month notice if I can. If you're 2 weeks out, that's pretty rough. Usually 2 weeks is kind of like the absolute bare minimum. Don't aim for 2 weeks before, 2 weeks prior. It definitely makes it hard. Just people coordinating schedules. People have lives outside of the game. Unfortunately, we have lives. So just it'll improve your attendance ratios. The more notice you can give, the better. Just so people can plan to block a Saturday out or Sunday, whatever it is, whatever day it is, just so they have enough time to just block the time out for it. So yes, communicate as much as you possibly can. If there's no communication system there, consider trying to even ask that, or like throw the idea out there to whatever communication platforms you have. Like, hey guys, how do you feel about consolidating some of this? How do you feel about making a channel for like the region and local chat, stuff like that? That's all really good. I know we've talked about that before. Just like in community development in general, that's really healthy for your scene. But to narrow this back down kind of into the tournament scene, try to aim for that month if you can. The more the better. As far as where to put it in all the Facebook groups, put it in all of the local channel. If you're in a store and they have like a miniatures Discord, the store has a Discord or has a Facebook page, put it there. Put it, if they'll let you put a flyer out or something, just do a quick little printout or something. That's great. Like they would love that. Most stores would love to hang that up. Anything that you can do just to get eyeballs on the event is going to be really helpful. Of course, put it in your whatever your community is using to organize Legion games. Of course, put it there. Yeah.
And also just be aware of how many times you're posting it in those places and things like that.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
don't spam.
Yeah, you don't want to spam it, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you have something that you're like, okay, the tournament's a month out, right? That's a good time to say something. The tournament's 2 weeks out. That's a good time to say something.
Yes. Yeah.
Every single day for a
No.
3-month
Don't do
period is way too much.
Too much.
You will get kicked out of most Discords or Facebook, whatever. Is like that's too much. You just gotta put it out there and let it breathe, right?
Yep.
Like the first time that you know that there's a tournament coming, you could be like, hey, we got a tournament coming in 2 months. Let it chill for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
People will see that, and then let that chill for a little bit, and then come back and just be like, all right, hey, now it's a month away, and so on. And then as you ramp up closer, maybe you can add a couple more things in there.
Yeah.
But if you're like, the day before every hour, too much. This is not helping you in any sort of way.
You can subtly do it too. You can be like, hey, I want to get a practice game for the tournament on blah blah blah. Like that's a subtle way to do it if you're doing like local games. But like as far as like spamming event post, usually I'm posting however early I can, and then like a month out, maybe 2 weeks out, there's a reminder, and then like week of, I'll probably do like that Monday, and then maybe if it's on Saturday, maybe I'm putting something out like Thursday, Friday, like just as a last call type thing, and then I will frequently like DM my players too if I notice that like people aren't in attendance. I'll be like, hey bro, you coming? Like that's up school like the day leading up to a few days before. It's worth a checking with people. Sometimes people just don't register. I don't know if it's this. I'm pretty sure this is a constant. People just don't register for events. So if you're attending, please register early. It helps your TOs out a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah. So.
Also, to unregister if you find out.
Yes,
that you're
please do that too.
I would love to shout out every person who ended up like unregistering for the tournament that I just hosted, because it was so nice to be able to throw something out there, see so many people be like, yeah, I'm coming, and then a couple weeks go by and someone's like, actually I have a thing, this popped up, whatever, I can't be there, and then unregistering, so that way the day of I had one person that was a no-show. That was it.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is so great, because I came in knowing how many people were actually going to be there.
Right.
And like that was a great, just like, shout out to everybody who does that. That helps. Everybody who registers beforehand, again, helps out. You're probably going to have people like, I am that person that I will register like the night before. And so like, sorry, I know that's not the greatest thing in the world, but the morning of, being able to know your number and how many you're waiting for is so good.
Tremendously helpful. Yes. Definitely make your Longshanks posting. Try to put all your info there. On the Longshanks side, that's currently the TL software that the community uses. So putting it there is great. The earlier you can get it out there, the better, because that helps people that are like traveling, people that are considering traveling. They can kind of like pop in there and look at it. They can see how many players are coming, what the event's about. If players are traveling through too, like I'll often do this. I'll literally just filter by Longshanks. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna be driving through here. Like, if you have it up earlier, maybe people can pack. I do it. I know a lot of people do it. Like if you're traveling and you have the event up and they see it's in the area, sometimes people just pack an army with them or something, and they'll pop into your tournament because they have some downtime while they're traveling. But yeah, as far as like Longshank, that's not the greatest thing in the world. It's not my favorite thing, but it's fairly straightforward. I know that can be a little bit of a hump. It might be worth getting into. It's maybe we could put like a Longshanks demo up or something, but it's really not that big of a deal. It pretty much runs itself. The important stuff is
very straightforward.
Just
like,
when
are you doing it? How many people do you like? Can you max have? And then like, what's your info for it? Like it really does kind of guide you through that. And as you pointed out, it's a great place to be able to advertise the game itself. Just there are a lot of people that may not be in your Discord, that may not be in your Facebook page or whatever, but they will see that you're running a tournament on Longshanks and be able to be like, actually, I can make that.
Yeah,
I found many local communities by doing that, so that is always a good idea.
Yeah, for sure. As far as like stuff you're putting in there, you're gonna put your location info, of course, all the stuff, like how many rounds. So if it's a single day tourney, you're probably doing 3 rounds, Swiss. You put your start times, your end times, rough lunch break, like lunch after round 1, whatever it might be. Prize support info is good. Yeah, go ahead.
If you have that by that time, that is a great place to put it.
Yep. Yeah. Any details you can give about the event. Again, Legion's great because it's fairly straightforward. You just put standard Legion game. Like, there's not like a lot of different variants or things to check.
Yeah, the type of tournament is also very
Yeah.
useful. Are you doing a recon? Are you
Yeah, that would be
doing
good
a
to put.
standard game? Are you trying to do a tournament of the whole 2,000 point huge stuff? Are you doing a team game? Like there's a community member near me that's trying to do a team tournament, and I was like, cool. Like
Yeah.
that is a thing to put in there, so that way people aren't showing up with a 600 point list to your 1,000 point games and
Right.
being like, oh, I thought we were doing a recon.
Yeah.
Or the
Double
vice
thing.
versa, right? They came with the 1,000 point list, and now they have to try to figure out how to like pare it back with what they brought, because you didn't put that.
Yeah.
Like, you got to put that information in there of just like, this is a recon tournament, this is a regular tournament, right, or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Definitely
do
include it.
try to be able to set an expectation in there, and also, what kind of tournament are you putting on? Are you doing something that you're
Any
trying
special
to
rules or fun little things.
special rules, and also just kind of like, what kind of atmosphere are you going for? Is this a thing for like newer players, or is this a thing that you're like, oh hey, this is for qualifications in for Vegas? Because
This is official AMG GT.
the Vegas qualification thing is a like a Google form that you have to fill out, and that's it. Like, it is very easy to
really?
do to do that and add that as like prize support. But when you do that, do realize who
Yes.
that will then.
Cool.
That entertains people of a certain caliber who want to be going to that kind of thing,
Yep.
and that might also then discourage other people, being like, oh, well, if that's the prize support, I don't want to get dumpstered by those guys. Like, I'm just,
No,
I
I'm not
haven't
playing
played a
those,
tournament all year. I just want to shake the rust
it.
off. Yeah, so do kind of have that idea of like, who are you aiming this for?
For sure. Play games, show up, play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the software pretty much runs itself.
Longshanks
Definitely put
is
that
really
info in there. I would recommend, if it's like your first few events, just sticking with the good old standard games. Assuming you all have enough points to do that. If your community just doesn't have 1,000 points, of course, read the room, do the recon games or whatever. But I would personally, I feel like your greatest chance of success is probably just running a standard, good old standard old-fashioned Legion. It's probably going to be the most well-attended things that you throw, especially in the beginning. But yeah, I mean that's really the majority of the work is the TO. And like, notice, like, it's not even the day of stuff. Like, the day of, it's pretty is pretty smooth, and like prize support stuff too. Like, put that info in there as well, even if it's like if there's store credit getting back to you, or do you have some kits that the store has graciously donated, or the community has some extra stuff?
Yeah, definitely talk to your store on what you're going to offer as
Tournament
prize
kits,
support.
yeah. Too. If you can get the store owner to get that in, like, that's super helpful. Everybody loves the free stuff, and that's just they'll send that to the stores. Like, that's the cards and stuff to hand out, the dice.
It was so nice just walking around round one,
like,
just handing out cards to people. Yeah, I was just be like, "Oh, you're playing Empire? Have an Empire card. Oh, you're playing Republic? Here, have a little Republic card." And sometimes you'll know who's in your local scene and who's there, and maybe you're just like, "Hey, like, you have like 4 armies. Which one of these do you want?"
Yeah,
but it is nice to be able to have that prize support, even like the small things, because that lets the players that don't do well still go home with something and feel good, right? It's like, even if they didn't win and they spent $15 or $20 for the buy-in, they at least get to go home with a couple of dice or a couple of cards and things and be like, oh, that was worth it to me, because I got to play 8 rounds of this game that I like with people that I like, and I got a cool a cool Luke card, so that way when I go to the next tournament, I have a little bling on my side, and that's that's a fun little thing, and that right there, that's all stuff that is not costing you money up front, right? Like, that's just stuff that you would get from the store for doing it there, and that's before you get into the prizes of like, is it a gift card to the store, or like, I talked to my store and I was like, do you have stuff that you want to get rid of? Because if the answer is yes, we will take that at a price and then be able to get rid of that for you. That it doesn't have to sit there. Like, they had little bottles of like D&D paints that they didn't carry, and they've been sitting in the clearance section for like $1 a bottle or whatever. And I was like, cool, hand me a couple of those. That'll be the best painted army. Right,
Yeah.
like that is a thing that I tried to put together, and they agreed with it, but unfortunately somebody came and bought all of it beforehand, so like we didn't have any of that. But that was going to be the thing, that they were just going to hand me some of these like dollar paints that they were trying to get rid of, and I was, that would have been extra prize support on top of just splitting it to all, splitting whatever to the players, or talking to them and just being like, hey, store, what does it cost us to have this here? Because that also will affect well, how much do you want to charge your community for doing this event? Yeah. My store is very nice in being able to let us have a sliding scale. And so they asked me, they were like, anywhere between this and this, we need this much money from you guys to have hosted it and, cover all of our costs. Yeah, and I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, and like, if you have the option, one of the more successful models, at least like, that I've seen as far as like local stores going, like prize support, where it helps the store out the most, helps the players out as well. It can be just simple as just give them credit back, like whatever the buy-in is. If your store, some stores pocket a little bit of it. I think the most successful thing, which is fair, but I think the more successful thing is literally just to take the buy-in and just divvy it up. First, second, third. It's netting the store a sale anyways. Like when they give the credit back to the players that win. They're going to spend it and they're going to buy something. It's just like on the store side, it's effectively just pre-purchasing a sale for them. If you think about it, it's helpful to the store, it's helpful to the players, especially if like people have stuff already. It's hard to like kind of guess like what, if you're trying to put product up, sometimes like, oh, I don't need Magna Guard, or oh, I don't need this unit.
Hilarious that you mentioned Magna Guard, because that's what I have.
It's like, yeah. Someone it, it's great. Like,
yeah, so somebody had donated a Magna Guard thing that they never built, and so I had that as prize support.
Right.
And everyone was like, okay, so I could take $40 for Magna Guards.
Right.
And pretty much everyone went with like store credit, and then like the last person was like, yeah, okay, free plastic is free plastic.
Yeah. If you have it, it's great. If you have the option of where the store is like, you can put product or produce store credit, I would probably lean towards store credit.
I would also do store credit, and that's always going to be the better choice.
Yeah.
But
if you have the stuff laying around, of course, use it.
Yeah. Sometimes there is stuff like that, and do ask them, because sometimes the store might just be like, hey, all of this stuff is coming in. We need to get rid of, like my store was trying to get rid of their old pikes. And so they were like, hey, do you want to offer the pikes up as a thing? Because we need it off our shelves so we can put in the new rocket B2s that are coming. Yeah, and so it's like, okay, cool. Like you can help them be part of that system. And be able to kind of like help them do what they need to do. And that makes, because especially if you can be like, hey, get us this on a discount or something, instead of it being the $40 that someone else would come in and spend on the pikes, like maybe you're using $30 of the price support for that or something like that. It's probably, and so that way the store's happy, they got rid of the stuff.
Yeah, they just like broke even on it, basically. Like it helps them too.
So your store's happy that they got rid of it. You're happy because you got some, something to hand to somebody, and they're probably happy because if their option is a $20 gift card, which doesn't buy the thing, or that thing that maybe it's not the thing that they wanted, but they're like, hey, that's like a $40 unit that I just got for rank in third. Yeah. So like that's like a solid thing. Again, as you pointed out, store credit is way better, and like everybody loves that. It just is also very smooth to be able to divvy that between everything. But do keep in mind that the store might need some of that, so that way they can pay the employees to be there, or for whatever your table use might be, or something of that nature. That they might need to keep some of that. Like my store needed to keep some of that, because of the fact that all of the cards that we give to people is free.
Those kits do cost the store money too. Like
And that's why I put air quotes around it, because it's not free for them. They have to buy that
Right,
stuff.
right.
And so it's technically, we're paying for that way. But that's why you can come play Legion at any point in time and get one of the packs of cards or whatever for playing there, rather than being part of a league or anything, because
Right.
we put it into that tournament pricing, and so that covers us for the next 3 months.
Right,
That's why we set that up that way. But like, so sometimes think of it that way too, of just like, maybe you need to do something so that way you can like have something fun for your other leagues that you're doing at your store for other people, and you're like, we want to do a big pizza party, and so we need to save $40 so we can order pizzas for the big pizza party. Like, this is a thing that you might be able to do, is just like, okay, you run the tournament, you save a little bit of it for whatever fun thing you need to do, the rest of it goes to that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, just the form, at least what we do, first, second, third, and there's best painted. There's 4 prizes that are usually some sort of a credit situation, whatever it is, and then like I've started doing like a best in faction, which is one, and it's just really silly. Like, if you have anybody with a 3D printer, I 3D print, so like I have started printing off these free head busts. They're like Thingiverse, or I use Bamboo, so like the Bamboo Labs. So there's people that put all this free content up, and it's just like little bust of like Darth Vader bust, Leia bust, like whatever it is. And like, I literally just print those out. It cost me maybe $3 worth of filament to print off like 5 of these things. And I just spray paint them gold, and like, here you go. Like, this is best in faction. Little stuff like that like really seems insignificant goes a very long way. At the end of the day, you play it all day, and it's like, oh, okay, well, maybe you didn't podium, but like, you got best Empire, you got best this, whatever it is. I like to do wooden spoon. I print a Jar Jar off for wooden spoon. Even like it's all little things. People like to get little trinkets and stuff. You know, you set them on your desk, and it's just a little happy reminder. Like, oh, cool, I did something. That goes a long way. Little things like that. It doesn't necessarily even have to just be like hard cash or just straight releases. You know, the free cards and stuff go a long way. All the things. It'll help. But
think about yourself in every single position of the tournament, and what would you be happy with going away with, right?
Yeah.
Right. It's like, think of if you got last place, are you going to be happy with walking away with a couple foil cards and, you know, a little tiny, you know, like a figure of somebody or something, and you're like, yeah. You know, if that makes it worth it, great. You figured out your pricing. That made it worth it for someone to be there, and then that they'll come back next time because they were like, hey, the pricing is good here. I want to continue going here.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, like, get what you can get, put what you can up. Again, don't let this be something that's like going to just remove the possibility of you being able to throw an event at all. Again, the golden rule here, I guess, is throw the event. Like, if it's not perfect, if you're not getting all the things hitting and firing like you want, throw the event. It'll come. It'll build. So first event doesn't have to be this crazy thing with all the prizes in the world. Try to get as much as you can. Try to do as much as you can on that end, and use all the resources that you have to do that and put prize support up. You can there's lots of ways to go about it without, you know, having to cost $1 even just to put stuff up. So
yeah, as a general rule of just, we are very benevolent people that love this game, and almost every TO that I know has always mentioned how much of the money that of their own that they've spent for prize support and things like that, and it's just like, try not to.
You don't have to do that.
Yeah,
it's not like,
you don't have to do that. I try very hard not to do all of those things, but you know, do understand sometimes that is a thing that you're just like, yeah, I wanted to do this for people, so I spent the $5. Like, you don't need to do that. And
it's not a requirement.
Yeah, it's not a requirement, and I'd say don't do it. But there are at times that people, you know, that are, it's like, oh, I wanted to order these 3D prints so that way everyone left with this cool Mandalorian sculpt for their new armies. If you want to do that, that's on you.
If you ever wanted an excuse to get the 3D printing, it is easier than ever.
Yeah.
I am not an intelligent 3D printer at all. My machines are very plug and play. It's amazing how far the tech's come, and relatively cost efficient it is. But anyways, this is not a 3D printing episode, but it's well worth the investment.
Yeah. So that is, you know, if you want to do a tournament, you're gonna go to your local store or wherever. You're gonna be like, can I do it here? Here's the information. Here's what I think I can do. Start organizing. Start asking people to come. Start asking people for if they can if you can borrow their stuff, so that way you can have enough terrain to be able to do all of these things. And then once you do that and you've talked to your store, you've got a place, you've talked to the store and you've figured out, between which Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic sets that you can host yours, and you've also had communication with the outside world and just been like, is anyone else doing one around here? Right? So you've avoided that. You've figured out when you could do it, and you're going, okay, that's what we're going to do. You're going to make sure that you have all of your, you need to have the terrain for the tables, so that's a thing to check off. And then once you've done that, then you'll start posting places and being like, here's when, here's where, show up please, here's how much, here's what you could win, right? And then that is the prep work. You've typed all of it into Longshanks, and you've set it up there as well. Like that is the prep work. That is 90% of the tournament stuff, right? Like that is do. That is exactly what you do. And then there's the day of stuff.
Right. Yeah, and like the day of is honestly the fun part. Like it's really at that point you're just like a player with some extra steps. Really is like kind of the knowledge base, and as far as like effort exerted to get the thing going. So like on the day of setup, like I usually try to arrive an hour early, however early I can, to set boards up. If you can get in the evening before and that's an option and that's more convenient for you, do that. Just to set boards up, do what you need to do there. Always put a little in my descriptions. I put like I'll be setting up at tournaments at 10. I'm like, I'm setting up at 9 a.m. If anybody wants to show up, set boards up. People will roll in and set boards up and things if that's happening. So that's a good little piece to put in the description. But do what you need to do to get the board set up. It's not crazy. I know that can be daunting too, especially if you're a little bit on the newer side, or even just having a new board. We last episode was on boards and stuff. It takes a little bit of time to figure that out. We did just get the terrain cards and like the AMG terrain dock. It's like really not over, I don't want to say over articulated. It's very specific. So like if you truly are just like, I have no idea what things need to be at, just use those. I mean, that's cool. That's going to take you a little bit longer to set terrain up, but hey, if you want to
it's a little overkill for what it is, but
hey, if you legitimately have no idea, you can dummy proof it. There are some rules in that are good, like ones to just to keep on hand, like keeping range one between terrain pieces. It's always good to always take like a tank when I'm setting a board up. Can I drive my tank through here?
That the hand trick that we learned from the Legion guys, right?
Yeah, the Legion guys.
Yep, like that is exactly the thing. Legion terrain, using your hands to see where tanks could go on your board. Otherwise, you're gonna make it smaller. How many large or small things that you want on each board, so that way it looks good. Like there are guides out there now, and there are many people that have a lot of options of that, so that's always a good thing.
And ask for help and feedback there too. If you're setting up and you're like just float the question like, hey, like how the board's looking, and if somebody's like, yeah, we're all gonna die on this board. I mean, if that's the intent, sure. Then maybe don't do that, but I always like to ask.
I started our tournament and someone was on the board and they were like, oh man, there's not a lot of line of sight blockers on here. And I was like, okay, hold on 1 second. Went to my bin, pulled out a couple more, threw them on the board since I wasn't playing on that board. I was TOing it. So I was like, sure, here, I can solve this problem for you.
Yeah, that's especially like in a local tourney, like do the things that are like nobody wants to just be dead turn one.
Yeah.
I always like to ask myself, if I was a rebel trooper on this board, how do I feel about it? Like that's a good, like, are we all just going to walk out, speed 2 onto the board and die? Okay, that's not very fun. try to, you'll learn that as it goes. And again, there's collective community knowledge there that will help you along the way. The expectation is not that you're the perfect rules guru with all the money in the world for the prize support and all the things and all the terrain and everything and just the perfect board builder. That's get all that noise out of here, man. Just throw the event. So set the boards up. That's the main part. And then as far as the tournament software, it kind of runs itself. You just kind of take roll, register the players that are there, drop the ones that didn't show up, make sure everybody paid up front or whatever to play and everything, and then just get your head count and just throw pairings up. Put numbers on your boards. That's helpful. Always forget to do that. Number the tables. Because as soon as you send the pairings out, people are like, "Where's table 1 or where's table
Yeah.
2?"
Definitely, if you do like a beginning spiel of like,
Yeah.
hey Matt, hey players, whatever, point out where that stuff is, so that
Yeah.
way everybody knows. Some people may not be your local area, local players, so just letting them know like, hey, bathrooms are over there, I'll be over here, whatever. Like that info is always just good to be able to share with everyone when you're posting up the pairings as you're making that announcement that pairings are up. You want to mention all that before you hit the button, because the second you say pairings are up, everyone will stop listening to you.
Yeah, that's right.
So do all of that first,
captive.
then hit the post pairings button, and then it's off. Everyone will be playing. I will say, as a TO on the local level, be prepared to play or
Yes.
not. Right? Like
Yep.
that is a thing too, because nobody wants to be on the bye and sitting on their hands for 2 hours. That always sucks. And so round 1, you should always do your best to make sure that either you're not playing, so that way you have even amounts of people on the table, or you are playing, so that way everyone has an opponent, and that way you can be able to even that and solve that problem there. And sometimes you aren't playing for round 1, but you do play for round 2 or 3 because somebody drops, and so to keep the numbers and to keep it from anybody having a bye, same thing there, because again, you're just like, no one wants to be, it's like, all right, everyone else gets to play, and you get to sit on your hand for 3 hours, and you're like, "Aw."
Yeah, definitely. And like, I know that's a thing too. Like, some people don't want to like, I want to play. I know that was for me. Like, I wanted to play and stuff. And oftentimes I do just play. Like, I'm running events and I'm just playing at them. And like, I don't take my prize support and stuff. I don't think that's a really good form if you're running the event to like take the stuff. That's my opinion on that. But definitely, it's not like a weird thing, especially at the local level, to like play in your own event, especially if you're doing it to make it help. Don't make somebody else sit out so you can play. That's not very nice. But I mean, you can put that's very normal. It's not taboo to do that. Make sure you bring an army with you. At the end of the day, if you're coming to a local tournament, usually the biggest thing people are coming out for is they want to play 3 games of Legion. That's really what they're coming out for. So if you playing helps make that dream come true, then play by all means. And then because you can definitely still play in the events. It's not like the expectation if you're going to start running events is like, oh, I just don't get to play games ever again.
Yeah. And if you're hosting it, right, if you're the TO and you've got even numbers and you're not playing, there's still a lot of things that you could be doing to be involved.
Yeah.
Right. There's stuff that you could do. You could be on Longshanks, adding in everyone's faction and their advantages and what primary they're playing and all of that as they're setting up. Yeah. So that way they have less stuff to do later. Right? Like that is a very easy thing that you could do. Just, you're walking around, making sure all the games have started all right, everything's going, and as you're doing that, you could just be like, oh, who's blue player? Oh, okay. And you can type that into your phone right there with the thing and just be like, all right, so and so is blue player. Yeah. This was their advantage, and then you can save that to the game that's on Longshanks, and so that way they don't have to add that at the end of the game. They just have to figure out how many points and kill points or whatever, and then boom, they've figured it out.
Yeah. Like always bring stuff to paint. like whatever I'm working on, I'll just grab like a few paints, or if I'm building something, I'm assembling Mandos right now, so I if I'm running an event, I'm probably just gonna bring my Mandos and build them. Like that's that way you're not, sitting there all day doing nothing. If you have just even numbers all day, like you use it the hobby. It's a win-win. Like, hey, I'm gonna build and crank some stuff out here. Yep. Talk to people as they walk up if you're free. Like that's the best time to bring new players in. If people are popping up and like, oh, what is this? Like go over there and talk to them. Like talk to them and try to get them in whatever community groups or Facebooks or Discords, whatever it might be. Get them involved. These are the biggest things that will build your community, especially like on the weekends and stuff. That's usually most stores' foot traffic. This is like prime time, salesmanship here, where you can kind of put the sales hat on to like pitch the game to people, and you'll bring people in.
And as a player in those tournaments, they want people to, like, you always want people to be like, oh, what are you playing?
Yeah, yeah.
But also, if I'm playing a tournament, I don't have a lot of time
Right,
to
right. The
talk to
players
that
don't have
person
that
about it.
bandwidth.
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to figure out my own game right now, so I don't have the ability to pitch and sell while I'm trying to play this tournament against my opponent, whereas that is a perfect time for the tournament organizer to then be there and just be like, hey, this is Legion, and they can answer all of the questions and probably be, kind of pointing out stuff on your board
Yeah.
that you're at, but you then don't have to worry about them asking you questions about it, and you trying to be nice. You can focus on the thing while the TO is there being like, hello!
Yeah, yeah.
This is Legion. Come join us. This is when we play. This is where you can find us. I did that for a couple people. I found one person that plays Legion. They just didn't play in our area. And I was like, well, join our Discord so that way the next time we have a tournament, you can swing on by.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah. And so, like, that is the kind of thing that you got to do of just like, hey, man, like, this is a perfect opportunity to basically sell the game to just random people that are walking in and buying Pokemon cards or whatever, because they'll see the Star Wars stuff and just go, well, what's that?
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Yeah, it's great. People love it. Yeah, I've played Middle Earth while running an event. It's truly not that like. Just to lower, it's not that big of a deal to run an event. Like, I hope, like, the whole point. I hope that, like, after listening to this, if you made it this far, that like the takeaway is like run the events. It's not as big of a deal as you think it is, and you can make it whatever it is. It's not like you're gonna have to just sit there and twiddle your thumbs all day, or if there's an odd number, you can do stuff while you're playing. People do that all the time, or while you're TOing. There's plenty to do. Build stuff, play another game, pitch the game to people as they come in, help the event run smoothly. There's all sorts of stuff that you can do, and it's not any more of an like you don't need any more knowledge than your average player would. You're just doing a little bit of background work to facilitate and organize this and just sort of coordinate it. And oftentimes it's not even an hour worth of work to like coordinate it. When it's all said and done, like as far as like getting the event up, getting the advertisement out, dropping it in the groups and stuff, it's relatively simple. You're just showing up a little bit early for the event, really, and just kind of being a friendly face. Like it's not that big of a deal.
Yep. And one last piece of advice that I have for anybody who's doing these is to make sure that every palm gets greased.
Yes. Yes.
Right. Every single person who shows up to your tournament, thank them for coming. Right? Make sure that you make a point to just be like, hey, so-and-so, thanks for being here. Like, you just chat with them. You chat with every single person. You make sure that everybody who helped you put it on is thanked properly, whether that is the people, the staff that are running the store that needed to be there, and so they need to have their cut of the thing. It's like, okay, cool, make sure that they have that. Oh, someone brought terrain for me.
Thank those people.
Thank those people during the start or the end of the tournament, probably both, to thank them for bringing all of that stuff. Or, maybe you got something else in mind. I brought donuts to the tournament, so that way everybody who brought stuff to help put it together, I was like, all right, what's your donut? And so that way, when we got there at 9 a.m., every single person had a donut with their name on it that helped me out, because I wanted to make sure that those people were thanked properly. That was me thanking them, of just being like, you got fed. Yeah,
stuff like that goes a long way. Thank everybody. Always grease all the palms. That's a good one.
Yeah, that is something that I learned in film school, and that is a thing that I apply to everything, is that any single person that you worked with to get to a specific point, you thank every single one of them. That's why credits are 5 minutes long at the end of movies, because you got to thank every single person.
Life advice, just in general. That's career advice. Yeah, no, it's all of the things are super helpful. Even like on the terrain side too, like I'm thinking this is kind of a little bit of a sidebar, but like one thing our store is doing that's like pretty creative to get terrain painted, do a painting competition. like they're doing a thing where like people, like our store has a lot of 3D printed terrain right now that's just not painted. They're doing a painting competition for it. Everybody's gonna come in and paint. They're gonna give them the paints, and it's like, okay, whoever does the techniques well, the store's providing the paints, and it's all getting painted up. That's a thing. That's kind of a little bit of a side note if you're looking for terrain. But yeah, always definitely always always thank the people that are helping you do it, and then ask for help, do all the things, and go the events, play games, roll dice.
Right. So we hope that this list of things and this discussion will help you be able to either understand what your TO is up to, or be able to let you TO in your area, so that way you can start hosting your own tournaments and having more people playing this game, because you want to see more faces, we want to see more faces. That's how we grow this opportunity, and be able to grow this for the fun that we have with it, because we do it all for
The love of the game.